Welcome back to the Reverse Song Podcast. I'm Ryan, and today we're diving into some of the most remarkable reverse songs carrying spiritual messages from start to finish. If you've been following this project for a while, you may have reached the point where you can hear much of what I caption in these reversals. If so, congratulations. Skipping into another dimension and learning the language of the angels takes patience, practice, and an open mind. Today's feature is a special one. We're exploring a few reversals from Michael Jackson, an artist whose forward mode classics are unforgettable and whose reverse messages are equally compelling. His iconic Thriller is often called the greatest music video ever made, and Earth Song stands as one of his most powerful creations. I believe these reversals will go down in history as equally inspirational. Before we hear the reverse video, I would like to briefly go over the lyrics as they are quite remarkable. For me, this was one of my earliest reversals, and it deeply resonated. It showed me that reversals are more than curiosity. They are vessels for spiritual conversation. Here are the lyrics. God sees you. God, what is it that you're doing? When the angel spoke, is it possible to see the proof? Is it possible that my God shows proof? Is it possible that God helps? Is it possible that God will do the impossible and send help? Does God have angels who can offer you help when the world is so unforgiving? And is it possible to have faith in me? Is it possible to have the good from truth? Is it possible there's evil that you made? Is it possible to have the light of truth? Is it possible I need heaven now? Can God ignore the truth? Is it possible we cannot accept a plan to know the truth about the needs of humans? Is it possible that God knows you? Is it possible God is absent? Is it possible to hear you? Is it possible to have the forgiveness of those who fear the truth? Now God will answer these questions in the group. There are those who are speaking up, and God will inspire a group that loves and believes in the impossible. And God will let some of you seize the truth. Some of you can see the truth here. Hear the angels who love you. Hear the angels who are offering truth. My beliefs will never fail. It's a time when words from heaven can seize and rise to help the giant fears that you have. Giant mountains are moving. Giant mountains cast the music for thousands that's lived with God's nourishment. How can men who flourish enough slaughter man's nourishment without kindness that's geared for the animals? We are stressing this for love of animals. The sin of selfishness seeks the model of wealth because they've broken the model where this world needs health. There's good in life. There's a lot of good in love. There's a lot of earthly music we have captioned. You've seen one tonight in the heresy of a nation that is lost. See the one that caused the heresy, and you will start to face that you need God to prevail. When we are spiritually void of feelings, we'll fail. We need experiences that seek God. To prevail, we need to reverse the sin that's evolved. That's the end of the lyrics. But I want to say one more thing. At the time, I was also working on Budgie recordings, which encouraged those following to ask questions to God and the angels, but they were to keep these questions to themselves. This reversal echoed that same principle, that angels respond when we ask, and heaven speaks to those who listen. Together with the Earth Song video, the result is a profound harmony of vision and sound, a reminder that humanity can heal when we return to the source. So let's jump into the reversal of Earth Song. Keep an open mind as you listen. This one is both uplifting and surprisingly entertaining. Here we go. Since I mentioned how I was translating Budgie recordings at the time I began doing song reversals, it feels right to bring one of those moments forward. This clip comes from Maylor, one of the 3 extraordinary Budgies who helped me tune into the frequency and, in their own mysterious way, rewire my brain so I could caption and capture reverse songs for others to hear. Their guidance was subtle, powerful, and life-altering. This recording is called The Microscope. I tried to track down the exact Budgie recording where they spoke about asking questions, or even the lesson itself, but after 20 years of sessions, it's buried somewhere deep in the rabbit hole of recordings and teachings I've collected. If you dig through the archives, I'm sure you'll come across the moments where both the Budgies and I encouraged listeners to ask questions. Either way, this recording from Maylor stands out, and I think you'll find it fascinating. There was much more to the lesson than what you just heard, but the clip captured the essence beautifully. The next song I want to feature is Michael Jackson's Thriller. This reversal is incredibly complex, almost cinematic. It unfolds like a movie told backward, with distinct chapters emerging in reverse. The hidden messages aren't just woven into the music, they appear in the spoken sections as well, so I'm going to break it down into several chapters to make the journey easier to follow. Before we step into the first chapter of this reversal, it's important to understand the spiritual terrain we're entering. The angels often speak about what they call originally employed values, the deep, instinctive truths that appeal directly to your soul. These values are the compass points we're born with, long before life complicates them, and when we drift too far from them, the divine has a way of calling us back. One of the clearest examples of this is how we receive certain dreams. You've probably had those nights where the imagery is unsettling, even disturbing, visions that shake you awake with relief that it was only a dream. But those dreams aren't random. They're warnings. They're spiritual interventions designed to pull you away from paths that lead towards sin, corruption, or self-destruction. In those moments, you feel the message in your gut, and you promise yourself you'll never let your life drift into that kind of darkness. That same principle is at work in Chapter 1 of the Thriller Reversal. The angels begin by reminding us that today, right now, we need those original values more than ever. They speak about creating a new version of truth, one that channels a legend, but does so in the name of God. They talk about transforming illusions, giving you a version of the message that will live, and even finding humor in the way the graphics and interpretations help channel something worthy of the unbelievable. There's a playful tone in the Angels version, but also a reassurance. They know they are not channeling reverse songs to cause fear. They know those listening are doing it out of curiosity, devotion, and a desire to understand the spiritual architecture behind the music. Don't close your eyes. It may be a bit freaky, but your curiosity needs them open so you can follow the captions. Stay with the vision, and let's step into the song now. In Chapter 2, the scene shifts. In the forward version of Thriller, we watch a parade of ghouls and monsters dancing with impossible precision, creatures whose movements are often more imaginative than their appearance. It's as if they're trying to distract you with choreography, hoping you won't notice what they truly are beneath the surface. Illusion becomes performance. Performance becomes disguise. The reversal speaks directly to this theme. When we connect to the originally employed values in the name of God, we're protected, even when illusion takes on physical form and begins to speak. These illusions can feel alive, animated, and extensive, but that's exactly when God can reach you most clearly. The angels remind us that this isn't a joke. They arrange for your values to be transmitted through what many people dismiss as illusion, something they associate with confusion, fear, or even spiritual cancer that grows unnoticed. And then the reversal turns its gaze upward. In heaven, many ask how a prophet could release the kind of hell we're witnessing, how such evil could be catapulted into view. The message here is sobering. This isn't a warning meant to frighten you. It's a revelation of horror that can feel offensive, unsettling, and deeply real. And the angels make one thing absolutely clear. This part is not from heaven. It's a reflection of the illusions we create, the darkness we entertain, and the spiritual distortions that dance in front of us, just like the monsters in Thriller, hoping we won't look deeper. In Chapter 3, we enter the graveyard scene, one of the most iconic moments in Thriller. Michael and his girlfriend are surrounded, trying desperately to escape the rising evil. The dead climb from their graves, illusions take on flesh, and the world around them becomes a nightmare they can't outrun. What's striking is how closely this mirrors what many people feel today. We're living in a time when illusions parade as truth, when anger and vanity are amplified, and when the world seems to be wrestling with forces that feel chaotic, divisive, and spiritually hollow. It's as if the monsters aren't just on the screen anymore. They're symbolic of the confusion and moral distortion we see around us. And this is exactly where the reversal steps in with clarity. The angels speak about illusions that don't deserve to be immortalized, visions God warned us to avoid. They remind us that these distortions are the actions of a free world, not heaven. They acknowledge that we should be able to sense when something is being released that doesn't belong in the spiritual realm. The message becomes personal and corrective. Remove vanity, release anger, and you'll find yourself standing beside angels who have none of it. They contrast heaven's order with what they see now: war, theft, corruption, and the heartless options people choose when sin commands their decisions. But then comes a shift. The reversal speaks of deploying a kind of magic, a spiritual empowerment, so that your work can become a voice for good. It honors those who have fought evil before, those who have stood as soldiers against darkness, and it warns that evil evolves through fear. Finally, the angels call us back to the core values God intended from the beginning: compassion, spiritual emotion, courage, and the original strength of the soul. They remind us that when someone is immersed in evil, nothing feels lacking, because sin numbs the senses. But heaven sees the truth. In Chapter 3, we enter the graveyard scene, one of the most iconic moments in Thriller. Michael and his girlfriend are surrounded, trying desperately to escape the rising evil. The dead climb from their graves, illusions take on flesh, and the world around them becomes a nightmare they can't outrun. What's striking is how closely this mirrors what many people feel today. We're living in a time when illusions parade as truth, when anger and vanity are amplified, and when the world seems to be wrestling with forces that feel chaotic, divisive, and spiritually hollow. It's as if the monsters aren't just on the screen anymore. They're symbolic of the confusion and moral distortion we see around us. And this is exactly where the reversal steps in with clarity. The angels speak about illusions that don't deserve to be immortalized, visions God warned us to avoid. They remind us that these distortions are the actions of a free world, not heaven. They acknowledge that we should be able to sense when something is being released that doesn't belong in the spiritual realm. The message becomes personal and corrective. Remove vanity, release anger, and you'll find yourself standing beside angels who have none of it. They contrast heaven's order with what they see now: war, theft, corruption, and the heartless options people choose when sin commands their decisions. But then comes a shift. The reversal speaks of deploying a kind of magic, a spiritual empowerment, so that your work can become a voice for good. It honors those who have fought evil before, those who have stood as soldiers against darkness, and it warns that evil evolves through fear. Finally, the angels call us back to the core values God intended from the beginning: compassion, spiritual emotion, courage, and the original strength of the soul. They remind us that when someone is immersed in evil, nothing feels lacking, because sin numbs the senses. But heaven sees the truth. In the final chapter of Thriller, we return to the theater scene, the moment where fantasy and reality collide. In the forward version, Michael transforms into a werewolf, a creature of instinct and terror. But when reversed, something remarkable happens. The beast dissolves. Michael shifts back into a real man, as if awakening from the illusion. It's a symbolic moment where he recognizes that the evil surrounding him doesn't have to live inside him. And in the reversal, he and his girlfriend share a conversation that reveals something unexpected: love, devotion, and a mutual desire to rise above the darkness. It's a reminder that even in the most frightening scenes, the soul can choose clarity over chaos. This message feels especially relevant today. We're living in a world where destruction is often celebrated, where conflict is normalized, and where people are encouraged to embrace the beast within as if it were strength. But the reversal challenges that narrative. The angels speak with urgency. They warn that it's easy to fall into the trap of believing destruction is good. They call for someone, anyone, to raise enough truth to expose the evil that so many of us can already see. They remind us that the situation is serious and that we must understand who benefits from war, who fuels it, and why it continues to spread. The imagery of the beast heading out as wars evolve mirrors the werewolf transformation perfectly. It's a metaphor for how violence grows when left unchecked, how fear mutates into something monstrous, and how illusions can take on a life of their own. But then the reversal shifts toward hope. The angels suggest creating a message, an article, a teaching, a declaration called Survival has ethics with God and courage will be first. They emphasize that a world without war opens up more options, more compassion, more spiritual clarity. They reassure you that if they ever believed each other was sitting in evil, they would denounce it. There was a massive amount of controversy hanging over Michael's head while he was alive, enough to drive anyone to the brink, or at least leave them deeply resentful about how they were seen. Yet he was ultimately found legally innocent of the child abuse accusations, and none of his adopted children have ever spoken ill of him. On top of that, songs like this one, even just in their forward play, did incredible things to inspire and uplift the world. This track, Heal the World, is another powerful example. I saved it for last because it's the hardest one to follow with captions, and you might feel that I've added more of my own words here. Maybe in a few places I have, but there are also a significant number of contextual hidden messages in this one. You may need to listen more closely with headphones and go over it several times, but it's well worth the effort.
Welcome back. Today we have a special song reversal presentation of Michael Jackson's Heal the World. And you will be able to witness it for the first time in history. Not only does this song have a powerful message in the forward mode, it has incredible hidden messages in reverse as well. This song was written and composed by Michael in 1992. In the music video with it, if you listen closely you will be able to hear children's voices speaking in reverse as well.
Thanks again for sticking with me all the way to the end of this episode. I know the thriller segment ran a little long, but there was a lot of valuable insight in there. In my next podcast, I'll be diving into some remarkable Taylor Swift reversals. So for now, I'll say goodbye, and I hope you'll join me again. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and give it a like.